I'm going to the Cannon Beach Historical Center and Museum. I was told they may have quilts on display.
Every change has a reason, baby, let it come to you. Every soul, every season lives outside of status quo. If we stop believing we're meant to be, expanding our abilities. If the passion's gone, we are doing it wrong. Baby, you and I should start living now. With the whole world at our feet, we could stay or we could leave. There is nothing in between. So baby, we should start living now. 'Cause we only have this life. Wanna laugh and wanna cry. I don't wanna waste my time. So baby, we should start living now. Baby, we should start living now.
At this museum, they just ask for donations, otherwise it's free to the public. They do have a small gift shop that includes cups and statues and books, postcards, ooh, stickers. Cannon Beach, a place by the sea. From this point, I beheld the grandest and most pleasing prospects which my eyes have ever seen. Captain William Clark, Lewis and Clark Expedition, January 1806. A tourist mecca. The end of an era. 1971, amid a chorus of protests, the city lost two landmarks, the Warren Hotel and the Cannon Beach Hotel. Both were demolished to make way for new structures. The journey of Haystack Rock, which is out in the bay, a place of beauty, splendor, attracting multitudes of visitors. Cannon Beach is especially attractive place because of the 3-mile-long sand beach with Haystack Rock standing as Centennial at 235 feet above the beach. The first humans to arrive at Cannon Beach began their journey in Mongolia about 10,000 years ago. They entered what is now called Oregon from the coast, finally to settle here on the river with one bank, as they called the ocean. From Mongolia. Wow, 10,000 years ago. The early explorers, long before Captain Robert Gray, discovered the Columbia River and arrival of the Lewis and Clark Expedition. They were explorers to search the Pacific Ocean in quest of land, its western edge, in the 5th century, according to official documents of the Sung Dynasty. A Buddhist monk and his group sailed to Alaska as far south as Mexico. Lewis and Clark first contacted with Tillamook's was in January of 1806. Hearing of a beached whale south of Tillamook Head, Clark, with 12 men, the Indian woman Sacagawea, and her infant child, set out for much-needed blubber and oil. Elk Creek Toll Road with Daddy Train. First settlers, just 42 years after Captain Clark's visit, the first homesteader followed the Indian Trail over Tillamook Head and settled near Ecola Creek. By then, the Indian villages and their inhabitants were gone. The earliest recorded homesteader living in Cannon Beach was Robert Alexander, who claimed 640 acres, 1 square mile on Elk Creek. And that was in 1850. Cannon Beach gets its name. James Austin and the Cannon, May of 1891. James Austin established a hotel post office on the stream near Arch Cape. Austin named the post office Cannon Beach because it was reported that a cannon from a shipwreck vessel was buried nearby in the sand. Austin searched for the cannon until his death in 1894. The cannon was found in the creek in front of Austin's house in 1898. Terrible Tilly and the Graveyard of the Pacific. That's the lighthouse in Tillamook. Coastal travel through time. Here's the cannon. We're at the mouth of the Columbia River, but rumor was that a portion had washed ashore just south of the river mouth in an area known as Arch Cape. People travel to Cannon Beach in this looks like a Model T. Some of the houses and cabins that people stayed in when they first settled Cannon Beach area. The Warren, Governor Oswald West, Cannon Beach. The first guest to register in Warren Hotel was Governor Oswald West. Like any other visitor to Cannon Beach, had to endure the tiresome 7.5-hour journey from Portland. It took me 7.5 hours to get here from Port Orford on a decent road. President Woodrow Wilson in 1914 visited the Oregon coast and stayed at the Cannon Beach Hotel. Until the 1920s, recreation on the Oregon coast was a very simple kind. Walking the beach, marshmallow weenie roasts, wading in the surf, crabbing, clamming, berry picking, gathering wild flowers, talking by fireplaces, playing games, singing around the piano, and dancing to the music. Summer cottages. There was a new prosperity. Summer cottages sprang up as the land in the new subdivisions became affordable, lumber was abundant and inexpensive, and the lack of building codes enabled homeowners to build whatever they wanted. A golden age, the 20s were a good time on Cannon Beach. The locals made money while the summer people found all manner of recreation. Summer residents recalled, "I often think of what a snap my mother and her sisters had. We would go down to the beach in the morning, take lunch with us, and would build a sandcastle all day long." The Great Depression, Cannon Beach felt the effects of the shock of the stock market in 1929. The logging, fishing employers in the area had to lay off people because nobody was buying their products. Hotel owners, carpenters, grocers, and developers alike in Cannon Beach, most lost all of their income during the Depression. Most people were out of work. The goal was simple: to survive. Summer cottage owners were hard hit as well. They're having to sell while others were repossessed by the banks. The new highway. Cannon Beach gained more accessibility with the completion of the Arch Cape Tunnel in 1940 and the construction of the Sunset Highway in 1948, linking Portland with Wolf Creek. The new coastal highway eliminated 111 nauseating curves and reduced travel time from Portland to Cannon Beach to 1.5 hours. Tsunami. Bill Stilda was playing poker during Easter week 1964, when a friend called to warn him that that the tsunami was coming. He raced for home on the north side of Elk Creek, passing through flooded center of town. He drove into the bridge ramp to find that the bridge itself was gone. He stopped with one of his front wheels over the edge of the ramp. He was astonished as he saw a house float by. He went over into the meadow and settled down like it had been there all along. An artist colony. From the beginning, Cannon Beach has always attracted artists, but a steady stream of artists to Cannon Beach had to wait on the initiative of Richard Atherton, husband of the woman responsible for Sandcastle Day. He was determined to make Cannon Beach and its art center in 1968 with help from a few other residents. Star Wars premiere. An orchestra from the Haystack Summer Arts performed a concert during the premiere. A tourist mecca. Prior to the 70s, many of the tourist-oriented business would open Memorial Day and close Labor Day. By the mid-70s, a steady stream of tourists found their way to Cannon Beach. The Oregonian reported that more than 33 shops opened last year. By the end of the 70s, an average of tourist population was 10 times the size of local population. Cannon Beach has long been a strange mixture of small-town private folks and merchants who depend on the tourist trade. Well, that's my tour of the Cannon Beach Historical Museum. No quilts this time. They said they haven't been able to do any quilts or textiles since COVID. Hope you enjoyed it. Give me a thumbs up, comment, share, and subscribe. And stay crafty when visiting Cannon Beach Museum and Historical Center. Thanks for watching.